Over the past 7 years, I've made many millions with the agency business model. This is the company I quit my job for with no experience whatsoever. I've gained clients, I've lost clients, I made a lot of mistakes along the way. But despite this, I still run my agency to this day, and it is highly, highly profitable. Today, I'm going to be offloading 7 of the key lessons that I've learned over the past 7 years. This is your unfair advantage. If I understood this stuff in the early stages, I dread to think where my agency would be right now. So close all of your tabs. I'm not holding anything back today. I'm laying all my cards on the table for you guys. These are 7 of the biggest lessons that I've learned in scaling, in niching down, in predicting the future, in the best offers that actually work, in maximizing leverage in your team, and in using data to scale your business, okay? So, give you the opportunity, close your tabs, pay attention. Let's get straight into this. So, lesson number 1 of 7 lessons in 7 years, okay, is what it takes to reach 10K is very, very different to what it takes to hit 100K and even 500K a month, okay? Many people who hit 10K a month, they struggle to break through to the 100K a month point, okay? Now, it is difficult to get to 10K a month, but all you need to do in order to hit that point is throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, okay? I thought I'd give you a visual, just in case you're not sure what that would look like. But in all seriousness, many agency owners hit the 10K a month point, okay? I don't think that is the biggest struggle for agencies. If that is your struggle right now, it's because you yourself are the bottleneck and you're not putting in enough work required, you're not putting in the man hours, you're not putting in the grit. This is something I will touch on shortly, okay? But going from 0 to 10 is all about mass. It is all about doing as much as you possibly can. It is about speaking to as many different people as possible in as many different ways as possible, okay? So it is cold calling, it is DMing, it is emailing, okay? It is speaking to people in chiropractic niche, in dentists, in gyms, in e-commerce, whatever the niches are in your local area, okay? Reach out to everybody you possibly can. And this is going to go against some of the things that you would have been taught online about niching down straight away. This is something I'm going to touch on, okay? These are lessons that I've learned over 7 years of experience. Now, it's also key to note that if you don't know me, I've mentored literally thousands of agencies. I've exchanged money with over 4,500 agencies that have personally paid me for mentoring over the past 6 years since I've become a mentor, okay? So I know what it takes to get agencies to 10K a month. I've helped hundreds and hundreds achieve this result. You have to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. It's very difficult to predict what is actually going to work to get you to that 10K a month point. And so we have to try a lot of things, okay? Opportunity is scarce. It's not available in abundance. In the early stages, okay, we are just trying to find opportunity in all corners possible, okay? When we get past 10K a month, it's about rejecting opportunity, okay? 10 to 100K a month is about analyzing the shit on the wall. These visuals, man, what was I thinking? 10 to 100K a month is about analysing that shit, okay? We've thrown email at the wall. We've reached out to this niche. We've reached out to that niche. We've reached out to this guy and this method and that method, right? What is actually working? What can I find, okay? How can I analyse this information? Lessons can I take from the massive work that I've put in to get myself to this 10K a month point, okay? And so what we're now no longer doing is we're not having 3 to 4 outreach channels, okay? We're not cold calling, emailing, DMing. We're not also running ads and doing content. What we're doing is we're analysing what worked and we're honing down into just one channel in each core pillar of acquisition, okay? What are the core pillars of acquisition? We have outbound, we have inbound, so paid ads, okay? We have outbound, we have outreach, we've got paid ads, we've got content, and we've got referrals, okay? Now, going from 0 to 10 is about having as many different channels within those pillars as possible. Going from 10 to 100 is about getting rid of shit, okay? It's about looking at the wall and being like, right, well, email is the thing that's making the most impact on my agency. That's where I'm getting 60% of my clients. So I'm just going to focus on email instead of doing a bit of calling and a bit of DMing as well, which isn't getting me the results. That's hypothetical. I'm not telling you guys that email is going to be the thing that is, but you need to understand your data. I'm going to run you through this so you can analyze and then hone in on one specific thing, okay? This is also when we want to introduce paid ads. You don't really need ads pre-10K a month. You can, but you're not going to have much leverage. And this is also when we can start exploring content strategy. In an ideal world, an agency going from 10 to 100, they've got one good outbound channel, they have one good paid ad channel, they have one good content strategy, okay? And referrals is something that should be coming in abundance at this point. 10 to 100K a month, 100 to 500K a month, it's all about leverage, okay? It's about strategic partnerships, it's about networking, okay? It's about what case studies and testimonials you've got on a mass scale that you can leverage across an industry. It's about your personal brand. It's about your agency brand. It's about public speaking. It's about maximizing leverage. This is something we're going to talk about on lesson number 5. Okay, so make sure you stick around. All of these work in syndicate to each other. They're not in chronological order, because what I'm doing is I'm offloading my brain to the 7 key lessons. I've got a personal note. When I've realized something, when I've gone through a bunch of shit, when I've made a serious mistake that's cost me a lot of money, and believe me, I've wasted hundreds of thousands and months, if not years of time to come up with these lessons. What I'm doing here is I'm offloading this information to you today, okay? So you don't make these same mistakes. Please, if you've got to 10K a month, do not continue the same strategy and think it's going to get you to 100K, okay? We have to be thinking differently. We have to hone in. We have to just focus on 1 or 2 things. Talking of honing in, the next lesson is niching down, okay? And I need you to understand that niching down isn't what it seems, okay? It is fluid, and it's certainly not final, okay? So first of all, I want to ask you this question. Are you 100% certain that you're in the right niche, okay? Think about that. Are you 100% certain that you're in the right niche right now? Okay, the answer is probably no for most of you guys, because you might not be in a position you want to be in your agency. And first of all, I need you to understand that that's absolutely okay. Your niche is not finite. Your niche is just a way to market yourself. It's just a funnel, okay? It's just positioning. And this is something that we can change without emotion at any time within the business, okay? Niching down is perceived as deciding to work with one industry. This is what most people think niching down is, but it's not. Niching down could also just be your service if it's unique, okay? So you might offer a specific service. That might be AI chatbots, which isn't so unique now, but actually as an agency, you can still make some serious headway with just being an AI kind of chatbot agency. That's very niche. Okay, it might just be email marketing. It might just be landing pages. These are niche services. Okay, if it's Facebook ads, it's way too broad. That isn't specific enough for you to niche down. Okay, I know many a 7-figure and multi-7-figure agency owner that works with every single industry, but only offers one service. Okay, like conversion rate optimization on your landing page. But we could also niche down on our location. We could isolate ourselves to just working with our local vicinity, which is something I thoroughly recommend for people that are pre-10K a month, okay? We could just work with local businesses. Or it could just be your angle. Maybe you're working with female-founded businesses, for example. That is a niche. So think outside of the box on it just being a specific service. Oh, I just want to work with dentists. That's kind of the primitive way of niching down. Now, the decision should always be based on your existing leverage, right? Ask yourself the question right now. If you haven't started yet, what leverage do I already have? What industries have I worked in the past? What industries am I working in right now? What industries do I have a strong knowledge in? What services do I have a strong knowledge about? Okay. If you've got existing leverage, then that is an indication that it might be worthwhile you niching down. If you don't have existing leverage, go scattergun, go broad, okay? Because opportunity is not going to be abundant for you. That's the harsh truth. And so we need to be just reaching out to as many people in as many different ways as we possibly can, okay? It is not a bad thing to be scattergun. Anybody who's told you that just does not understand how to grow businesses. Now, if you have no leverage, there isn't much value in niching down, as I've just said, okay? And your niche will narrow and broaden over time, okay? I just want to just visualize this for you so you can understand. Most people think that when they decide, okay, I'm going to niche down, I'm going to do this on the iPad so you can get an idea of this. Most people think, okay, if I'm going to niche down, then I'm going to do this in a way that I'm going to just be put into this box for the rest of my business career, okay? So for the rest of my agency, I'm now stuck with working with chiropractors, okay? And that is not the case at all. So let's just see what we've got here. So as an agency owner, like let's say we have existing leverage, okay? So we have leverage. Okay, look at that handwriting. So if we've got leverage, then we're going to start niche, okay? So this is our niche. We're starting pretty small. But what's going to happen is we are going to hit a limit of something that is called TAM, okay? So TAM is total addressable market. It's the total amount of people in your industry that you could possibly target. And I'm going to guess that in the majority of local business niches, which the majority of you guys will be working in, your TAM, your total addressable market, will be quite small. And therefore, when you hit a certain revenue level, you'll have to scale what's called horizontal, okay, horizontal scaling in order to increase your revenue. Okay, so what will actually end up happening is your niche will broaden. Okay, so your niche will get broader. And what will actually likely happen is, what you're doing here is you're increasing revenue by broadening your niche, because you've got a larger TAM, okay, because TAM is increasing, so you've got total addressable market is going up. But what's going to happen, and I've seen this happen time and time again, is you'll go a little bit too niche and you'll have to bring your marketing down to you're just speaking to someone specific. Because what you're really doing in between this time period here is you've started with a specific niche like chiropractors, and then you've decided, well, these are too niche and I need to reach out to more people. Let me reach out to dentists, let me reach out to doctors, let me reach out to other alternative medicines. And within that, you'll find that some of those niches don't really work out, they don't align with your service, and they've gone a little bit too broad. And so then what you'll find that you end up doing is you end up just finding a kind of middle ground. Okay, so you kind of end up niching down a little bit more, but this way you've kind of hit this balance of ideal TAM, ideal serviceable market, and this is what will likely happen. If you have no leverage, okay, what will happen is you'll start off broad, and then you'll niche down, and then you'll probably over niche down, and then you'll end up just going a little bit broader again. God, these are terrible drawings. You get the idea. So we're starting off pretty broad, and we're working with kind of all kinds of industries in this point here. And then at some point we kind of over niche down because everybody's ramming it down our throat. And this area here is just, it's just not much money here. The TAM is just pretty low. And then we broaden out a little bit longer down the line. I mean, some agencies will do this and then they'll let's rub that out. Then some agencies will do that, and then they will actually broaden out a little bit more, and then they'll broaden out more, and then they'll actually go completely broad. And the way that we go completely broad, the way that we actually increase our TAM over time, okay, is by increasing leverage. Okay? Damn. Terrible drawing. I'm going to come back to this. You get the idea. Okay, if we increase leverage, we increase our capacity and our ability to resonate with a broader audience. The reason why it's difficult at scale to run ads and market ourselves to a broad audience, okay, is because we don't have enough credibility and we haven't built enough trust inside of a marketplace. But if we build that credibility and trust inside of a niche to start off with, or just like a micro industry, then as we gain more leverage and more case studies and more brand and more awareness, we're able to get broader, okay? So it's going to move like this over time. That's what's going to happen. And the likelihood is you're going to go broader and broader and broader as you want to increase your revenue and as you want to increase your TAM. So, how do we actually find out our TAM? I'm pretty sure I opened up something so I can show you guys. Yes, okay, cool. So one of the easiest ways for you to research your TAM, I would just recommend you going on Fiverr. It doesn't have to be Fiverr Pro, so we can just go on normal Fiverr right now. And you can just type in total addressable market. Okay. Well, you get the idea. If you go on Fiverr, total addressable market, okay, there are many people for really good prices who can do market research for you and can do some research on your TAM figures. TAM is total addressable market. SAM is your serviceable addressable market. These are the people that are actually qualified in your industry, the kind of people that you're actually going to want to work with. Okay, so it's very easy to come up with this research. You want to get a good idea of this, and then you want to establish what your market penetration rate is going to be. So how much of that market share can you realistically take? Anything more than 10% and you're being way too lofty. Anything from 0 to 5% is a lofty goal in itself, but actually more realistic. So if you think like, okay, but around 5% market penetration, that's realistically where you're going to be able to hit when you're hitting your peak. Maybe 10% if you're doing really well and you've got a unique offer. And so then take that amount of people, times it by your average service cost. That's the total amount of revenue your agency can make from that specific market. Okay? What else have I got here? Oh, I was going to show you what... Oh, God. This is what happened when I was trying to create that image earlier. This is just outrageous. Look at this. I said to GPT, I wanted to create this image. I wanted to give you a visual of throwing shit at the wall. I don't know why I needed to do that. What the hell is this? Oh, it gave me a laugh. Anyway, so let's get back to it. Niching down is not what it seems. It is fluid, and it certainly is not final. Okay, if you niche down, just compartmentalize it as it's a temporary measure, and you will broaden out over time. If you don't have leverage, you want to go broad and then niche down, and then go broad again afterwards as you increase leverage. So, lesson number 3, predicting the future. We need to understand what works today will not work tomorrow. This took me a long time to understand this. It seems obvious, right? But until you practice these things, it's not at all. But you can predict what will work. You can predict what will work. I've been in this industry now for 7 years, as I keep saying, and over time, everything moves in cycles. Absolutely everything works on a cycle, okay? What works today, right, be that Facebook ads, is not what's going to work in a couple of months' time. People will move over to another platform that'll be more profitable. And I'm not saying Facebook ads stop working entirely, but there's better CPMs, there's better cost per lead, there's better cost per acquisition, okay? Everything moves in cycles. And I've now been in this industry for at least 3 to 5 cycles in many of these different subsections. So an example for you would be in the 90s and the early 2000s, cold calling was absolutely booming. Everyone had a cold calling center. Every company was just a massive, like people moved away from sending letters out to individuals, which is really interesting because that's now just like a secret sauce recipe. But come 2010, okay, cold calling was frowned upon due to saturation. So many companies are calling, right? So, but now, because of that, because everybody stopped cold calling, because it became frowned upon, now cold calling is back to being the most effective outreach strategy. I say the most effective. If we're talking for outreach, going door to door is even better. Because door to door salesmen, okay, we're talking door to door is like 70s, 80s. Nobody can be asked to do that anymore. Everybody's sat behind a computer. Everybody wants to email. Even cold calling, right? Despite it being really shit. Even cold calling is way easier than going door to door, but door to door works incredibly well now, and it's because of a lack of saturation, because most people in the market want to choose the easiest path, okay? And the same thing happens with email, the same thing happens with DMs, the same thing happens with meta ads, the same thing happens with YouTube ads, okay? When everybody is going left, you've got to go right. When everybody is calling, go door to door. When everybody is emailing, start cold calling. When every single competitor that you have in your agency niche is on YouTube ads, go on Facebook ads, go on TikTok ads. That is how you get the creme de la creme results, okay? And this is counterintuitive. For so many years, I just copied what the big dogs in the industry were doing. This is not how we grow. This is not how we get exponential sale. We have to do what others aren't doing so we can get what others can't get. Took me a long time to understand that. Okay. Lesson number 3, offers. This is huge. Trust and integrity will always outperform a bold offer. Quick question for you. Do you have a bold offer right now? Okay. Do you have a big bold offer right now in your agency? Do you have a tangible offer that you are putting in front of your potential customers? And then even more importantly, out of 10 people that take that offer and say yes, do over 75% of people get that specific result that you are offering? Be honest. Because if the answer is no, then you have to understand that your offer is useless. Because all you are doing in the eyes of your customers is over-promising and under-delivering. And this goes against everything that big business teaches us. Amazon, Apple, Uber, Airbnb. All of these companies under-promise and over-deliver. They all excel in customer service. And so if you have 10 people and over 75% don't get that specific result, and you can blame the client, you can blame the specific set of circumstances and the criteria that they didn't meet. Bottom line is they're not getting the result that you promised them. That's a massive problem. And we're in a global trust crisis at the moment, okay? Globally, not just for government, but in business. This is massively bleeding into business, especially in the agency industry, okay? We have to underpromise and over-deliver. We have to get back to that place in this industry, never the other way around. And clients are sick of being burnt by agencies right now, okay? How many of you guys have spoken to a potential client and they've said, we've tried this before. We worked with another agency and it didn't work, okay? How do you compete with that? How would you sign that client up? Do you compete with the offer rat race? No, of course you don't. Okay? Of course you don't. Because what happens? Let's just unlock this right now. What happens? I'm sure we've all seen ourselves in this cycle. Okay? I'll get you 10 leads in 30 days or you don't pay. Okay? What then happens? Next agency. I'll get you 20 leads in 30 days or you don't pay. And then what happens? Well, I'll get you 20 leads in 20 days, or you don't pay, and I'll give you 1K for wasting your time. Just boring, boring shit. It's all we see, day in, day out. So what do? Do you think of a way that you can top this? Do you think of a way that you can create a better guarantee than all your competitors? No, because everybody is already over-promising. Everybody is already in this sea of unrealistic offers that actually don't serve any real intrinsic value to the market. And so what you do is you do the complete opposite. Okay? In the sea of lies, you become the truth. So when you speak to a client, and I want to just give you a bit of a framework, and this is just what I call a 3-month rule. If you're an ad agency, there'll be equivalents of this in other industries. This is something that we have done for years, and a reason why our close rate is 50% plus. When we speak to clients and they say to us, oh yeah, we've worked with another agency, ours doesn't work, or we work with these guys, first of all, we listen to them and we reason with them. And we want to listen to the real objections that they've faced, okay, the real issues that they've experienced with the agency they've worked with. Okay, and we want to let them know we understand them. We would feel exactly the same with them in their position, and that we share in their frustration that there are other agencies that exist in this industry that are doing this and they're putting a bad name out there. Okay, and then what we do is we do not tell them what they want to hear. We tell them the opposite of what they want to hear. Okay, and we tell them, no, you know, the problem is with that agency you worked with before, and the reason why you didn't get 20 leads in a month, it's because it doesn't matter if it was that agency or any agency. The likelihood of you getting those leads is just non-existent. They've told you that because they want to sell you. But I'm going to be truthful with you right now. If you want to get to 20 leads a month, we absolutely can get you to that point. But it's going to take us likely 3 months to get you to that point. And the reason why is this. Month 1, we're going to launch your ads and we're going to do a lot of testing. The truth is, no matter what we've done with previous clients, even though we know the best strategies out there and we know proven offers, we don't know what's going to happen on your account until we actually launch ads. So we have to test it. So we're going to test rigorously through month 1 and aim to get you to a break-even point. In month 2, we're going to start honing in on those tests. We're really going to start utilizing that data and we're going to get you a little bit of return on investment, but you're not going to get rich. Now, month 3, this is when we're going to start scaling up. Okay, now I can't guarantee it's going to happen in this exact cycle. Sometimes it's going to be a little sooner than this. Sometimes it's going to take a little longer. But if you want an ad account which is self-sustaining, that is bringing in consistent, valuable, profitable leads every single month, we have to go through this process and we have to get you to a point where we've got accurate data on the ad account. Okay, and that is just one way of explaining that for a paid ad service. There'll be many ways that you can do this. Now, what happens at this moment is you're speaking to a business owner and they think, shit, this guy isn't just selling me the dream. He's telling me what I don't want to hear. I don't like this reality, but he's told me that if I want to get my desired result, John, you told me you want to get to 100K a month, you're currently at 50K a month. Well, the only way to get you to that point is by going through this process. Okay, and they can rationalize it through their goals. They can compare that truth to the history that they've had with the existing agency or the past agency, okay? And they can relate to where they went wrong, and you become the truth within a sea of lies. Never, ever tell your clients what they want to hear. Always be honest and truthful with them. That is why we have a non-existent churn rate. Of course, we still get churn. Of course, we still lose clients. That is inevitable, but our churn rate is incredibly low in comparison to our competitors because we are always open and transparent. And this is what you have to be from day 1 as an agency owner. Never get caught in this rat race because you are not adding intrinsic value to business owners and we are in a trust crisis and we have to be an open and honest person that holds themselves to the highest integrity. Okay? This will always outperform a big, bold offer every single time. Or jump on a sales call with the same prospect you're trying to close. You can have a big fancy offer with a big fat guarantee. I will close that client over you every single time because they will trust me and they won't trust you because you sound like everybody else. Okay, so think about that. Do you have a big, bold offer right now? And it's okay, by the way. I just want to reiterate, it is okay to have a big, bold offer if you can answer yes to this question. And not because of this crazy set of circumstances. Well, yes, 9 people out of 10 reach it if they do this, 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 and this, and this. No. Do 10 people that take it, 75% of those get the result. Not because of all these different things that they need to do, not because of all these conditions that you're tripping them up on. Do they get that result regardless of what happens on their end? Okay? Offers are an exceptional vehicle. 99% of them are bogus. Lesson number 5, maximum leverage. How do we maximize leverage? So the leverage ladder is a slow climb, okay? I'm going to introduce you to something called the leverage ladder. It's a slow climb and there is no elevator. Many people want to find the elevator when it comes to the leverage ladder, okay? For most people. And I say for most, and I say this because there are some people who come into this industry that have a true unfair advantage. They just know people, they have connections, they've been in this space before, okay? And they can gain leverage. They can piggyback from somebody else's authority. They can use somebody else's case studies. They can already speak on stages. They've already had another successful business and they've got accolades. But at some point, they had to climb that leverage ladder. It's very rare that it's just silver spoon fed. Okay, but for the majority of you guys, you're going to have to work your way up and climb the leverage ladder just like I had to. And it's grueling and it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy and sweat, but it is crucial, okay? Leverage is our biggest weapon. You cannot run before you can walk. You must earn your seat at the table, okay? Leverage is the most valuable asset as an agency. So what is leverage? It comes in the form of testimonials from clients who have said, yes, these guys have done a great job, in the form of case studies, in strategic partnerships, okay, so relationships with other agencies offering complementary services or softwares that have access to your ICP, your ideal customer, and of course speaking opportunities. Public speaking, authority, all of this stuff really helps to just cement you as somebody that is or is who they say they are and can do what they say they can do, because by speaking, others have validated that thought on behalf of yourself, okay, so this is just a small example of leverage. I'm going to show you a resource in a moment just so you can see how we're tracking this leverage. Now, every step up the leverage ladder is another unlock to more leverage. Okay, so we have to earn our place up. Okay, so we sign up a business making 10K a month. We get a case study from them. Well, that's going to be more. We're going to be more likely to sign up a client doing 50K a month, and then more doing 100K a month, and then 200K a month, and then $1 million a month, and you get the idea. We make a small partnership with a small local business, and then we start another partnership with another larger business, and then a large one, and you get the idea. It's like getting jobs. It's like our career. That's the best analogy for it. When we want to get a better job, well, we have to get better experience. So we get the job, we blag it a little bit, we fill the boots, we become the person we need to be. Okay, cool, I'm a sales manager now. Well, what about if I want to be a sales director? Well, I need to get the leverage, need to get the experience, need to get the credibility, and then I unlock sales director. Well, now I want to be a chief sales officer, okay, a C-suite. Then I need to get the leverage, get the experience over time. This is something that only really comes over time through an accumulation of wisdom. And we can't hack this, okay? But one of the biggest mistakes I made in the early stages for the first 2-3 years of agency life is I really sucked ass at documenting. Documented on YouTube, but I didn't document all of my case studies, my testimonials, my partnerships, and so on. And so this is something I learned from a much more experienced business owner than me very early on in the journey. So you need to be storing your leverage. You need to create your own leverage library. So I'm going to show you what our leverage library looks like. So we've created this inside of Notion. This is actually a resource that we now give to agencies inside of our elite program, which is for people that are at 10K a month, want to scale to 100, 500K a month plus, okay? Larger established agencies. So it's a simple table. You can replicate this if you like. So we just open a leverage point. We can create new leverage points and we choose the type. Okay, is it testimonial? Is it case study? Is it an award? Is it client portfolio? Is it expertise? Is it a specific methodology, a framework that we have coined? Is it a tool or technology? Have we created our own internal software? Is it some specific knowledge? Is it a certification? Whatever that is, okay? So we say it's an award, okay? Then we're going to name this leverage point. It's an agency award or whatever. It might be an affluent award, for example, which we award our community for consistently generating exceptional results. You can use and leverage this. You can put it on your website. You can put any relevant information there. You can upload any documents and so on. And what happens now is over time, what we have done is we have stored these leverage points inside the business. So anytime that any relevant person in the company needs to create new ads, needs to create new funnels, needs to have some inspiration for sales calls, needs to create a pitch deck, they can look at this leverage library collectively and be like, oh, I can leverage this. I can leverage that case study. I can use this award. And it's an accumulation of information. Do not disregard how easy it is to forget all the incredible things that you have done over the years. It's incredibly easy to forget all the incredible accolades that you've collected. And so if we have a place to store them, not only can you remember them and use and leverage them when you're going about your everyday, when you're creating a new funnel, when you're pitching yourself to somebody, but your team can use and leverage them. That's the crucial part. As you build the team and as you build the marketing department, having a leverage library is absolutely crucial. I wish I did this earlier from day one. Okay, let's move on. Lesson number 6, your team. So it is all about you until it is about your team, okay? You are the single biggest bottleneck in your growth. Does that make sense? And think about that. Are you right now at the point that you're in? I mean, if you're pre 10K a month revenue, the likelihood that you're the single biggest bottleneck is very high. So ask yourself that. Am I the bottleneck right now? Okay. Once you yourself are a success, everything you touch will be successful. I truly believe this. This is a quote I read very early on in business. When you yourself are a success, everything you touch will be successful. Okay. And what I mean by this is you yourself as an individual outside of business need to be a successful person. You have to have your health in check. Okay. We've got to have our mindset in check. We've got to have our surroundings in check. Okay, who are we spending time with? Who motivates us? Who doesn't motivate us? Who drags us down? Who do we need to get rid of? Or who do we need to spend less time with? What are we doing that aids our goal? What are we doing that retracts from our goal? Okay, and what do we need to change there? What are our daily habits? Is my health in check? Do I feel good about myself? Do I have significant insecurities? Is this security big enough in order for me to get in the way of my everyday life? Ask yourself these questions. Am I myself a success? And look, we are working progresses. I'm still working on myself. I am not perfect, but over time, because I make a conscious effort every single day to work on myself, I am ruthless at prioritizing self-growth. Okay. And self-growth, I'm not going to tell you, oh, you have to meditate, you have to read books, you have to do this. Self-growth is very individualistic. Okay. It's based on you and your unique set of circumstances, but you have to commit time to prioritizing self-growth every day. Because if not, you are going to be limited. Okay, it's like trying to run a marathon with one leg. It's going to be pretty difficult if you haven't got the right tools and you haven't got the second bionic leg, whatever. It's going to be pretty difficult. Okay, we have to have the right tools. We cannot be coming into this handicapped. If you yourself are handicapping your own business, it's very possible and probable. Okay, through thousands of people that I've worked with, they are the biggest bottleneck. Okay, we have to accept that nobody is coming to save you. Okay, nobody is coming to save you apart from yourself. And sure, you can join our program. Sure, you can get accountability. That'll absolutely make things easier considerably. Having other people that you can work with side by side, having a one-to-one mentor and a coach that you can listen to, because entrepreneurship is lonely. Okay, but you have to understand that nobody is going to come and save you but yourself. What I mean by that is nobody is going to do the work for you. At the end of the day, no matter what motivation you got, no matter what accountability coach you got, no matter how many hours you've got, you are the person that's going to put in the work in order for you to reach your goals as an entrepreneur. Okay, and when we accept that, the sooner we accept that, the better. Okay, because we understand it's you against the world. Okay, and it's a harsh reality, but it is the case. Now, after 10K, it's all about realizing this in other people. Okay, it's about understanding that every individual is the individual bottleneck in their own life. Okay, knowledge, skill set, all of these things can be taught. Okay, but self-actualization and self-success is something that has to be nurtured over a period of time. Everybody talks about attracting A players, okay? But A players are incredibly hard to attract when you don't have an attractive opportunity for them. A players who have already reached the peak, okay, of their career and their success, or at least mentality, they're looking for opportunities with other A players. It's very hard when you've got minimal leverage to create an attractive enough opportunity to actually attract genuine A players. And so what ends up happening as you're building your team is like 1 in 10 people, 1 in maybe 5 people, if you're lucky, they're going to be A players. And you're like, wow, I wish everybody was like John. Okay. Most people won't be like John. So what do? We have to help B players become A players. It is okay to hire B players. It's okay to hire people that are 80, 90% there, but they're just not there yet. And then empower them to become A players. If we hire based on mentality and we hire based on culture, and then we give them the resources that we went through to get us to the point we're in, and we empower them and we show them we're willing to invest in them, then we can breed A players within the business. Okay? So I had to think about this. What are the resources that I have used that have been most effective for me that help me go from a B player to an A player? We're not born A players, we create them. So how can we create them in our own team? How can we enable self-growth in our people? Okay, because people are the biggest bottleneck. And first, it's you, and then it's all about your team. The success of your agency will be entirely dictated by your team's ability to work efficiently, okay, and their ability to stay away from you having to babysit them. This is massive, team. Like, Let me know, drop a comment down below, guys, if you want to, first of all, if you want to me to talk about any of these specific points in a lot more detail. I could talk about any of these topics for hours and hours and hours. Drop a comment down below and let me know. In fact, if you want access to this entire document, drop a comment down below. I'm also going to put a link in the description, and you can sign up to our email newsletter. On the first email, I will set it so you get sent this document so you can study it in your own time. Okay, and if you do drop a comment, let me know which of these points interest you the most, and then I can create a more in-depth lesson or video going into more detail on that individual topic. Okay, so let me know. Lesson number 7, data. Data is the only source of truth. Okay, so track absolutely everything. Ask yourself, do you have clarity on where you should be spending your time every day? Okay. Every day when you wake up and you get to the office and you sit down on your sofa or wherever you're working, at your desk, do you have complete clarity on the tasks that you should be working on that are going to move the needle in the most significant manner? Okay? And regardless of your answer to that question, are you tracking everything that you could be tracking and should be tracking? Because an agency business is, and this took me a long time to understand this, an agency business is an algorithm of numbers. And once we understand how to understand those numbers and then manipulate those numbers, then it's input-output. And we can literally mold the business we want to mold, and we can make the amount of money we want to make, with the only variable being time. It is physically impossible to fail as an agency owner if we understand the data inside the business and how to manipulate that data. The only thing that varies is time. Okay? Now, your data is your ticket to evergreen clarity within the business. There is not a day that goes by that I do not know exactly what I should be working on in the company to drive the business forward. And it took me a long time to get to this point. So we have to track our outreach. We have to track our ads. We have to track our client success metrics. Okay? And not just the obvious, but get granular with it. If we're cold calling right now, okay, just use this as an example. It's not just about the total calls we're making and then the total amount of appointments we set off the back of those calls. But there's a lot of micro data off the back of that. Okay? In fact, let me just show you something right now, because this is going to give you some clarity. Okay, so this is a cold calling data tracker that we created. Okay, we've got our cold leads, warm leads, appointments. Okay, and the end of day report is what I want to show you. I want to show you the data that we track when it comes to cold calls, just to give you an idea of the numbers that you should track in the business. Okay, so it's not just about, like we highlighted, what most people do is they look at total dials and total appointments set, but it's about all the things in between. How many people picked up? Okay, and that's receptionists, gatekeepers. Okay, how many people actually picked up? From the total amount of people we dialed, how many people picked up? Then out of those people that picked up, how many contacts did we reach? How many decision makers did we reach? So we might call 10 people, only get through to 5 pickups, gatekeepers, and then only get through to 3 business owners. Now, out of those business owners, how many did we get to pitch? How many did we actually get to state our offer? And then out of those people we sent our offer to, how many people responded and actually gave us the opportunity to speak? Okay, and they said yes or no. And how many of those were positive responses? And then finally, how many appointments were set? You might be thinking, well, why do I have to track this much granular number of data? Okay, and it's simple. If we understand each of these data points, if we understand each of these references, we can learn very quickly where we need to be spending our effort in order to improve our numbers. Because this is the ultimate result, right? And it goes in this order of priority. This is the most important metric. And then this is the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Total dials is actually the least important metric. See, most agency owners are like, well, let me just dial 20 companies a day. That's the only thing they track. I'm dialing 20 companies a day. I'm getting X amount of appointments. That is literally a quarter of the job. Because if we're tracking our, let's just run through this, okay? We're not getting the amount of appointments that we want. We're doing 20 dials, or let's say we're doing 50 dials, we're only getting one appointment. Ideally, we want to be getting at least one appointment for 25 dials. So we're getting 50 dials, and we're only getting, can I change this? I don't want to change this without like ruining it. Let me just make a copy of this and just like quickly change this data so we can actually go through something tangible. So 50 dials and one appointment. Okay, well, how many positive conversations are we actually having? Well, we might only be having, out of those 50 dials, we might only be having 5 positive conversations. We might be having 10 total conversations. We might have pitched 15. We might have had contacts reached. We might have reached, let's say 18, and then we had 28 pickups. And our total dials, so this is new leads called, so this is new leads, this is total dials including follow-ups there. So total dials is going to be like, let's say 80, because that's including follow-ups. So out of those 50, okay, this is what data we've got. So how can we identify our bottleneck here? I've just put these in at random. What is our issue? Okay. Well, first of all, I've set based on benchmarks on this data. I've set some benchmarks for what we really want to be looking at for this data to start off with, which is why it's turned green, okay? But breaking it down to you, if we're doing 50 dials and we've got one appointment set and we're having 5 positive conversations, well, first of all, there's a discrepancy between the amount of appointments that positive conversations we're having and appointments we're actually setting. If someone's actually positive and we're not managing to book the appointments, we should be, out of positive conversations, be booking at least 50% of those as meetings, okay? So there's leverage there, first of all. What about the conversations to positive conversations? 50% drop off, that's probably about right, that's not too bad. Pitch to conversations, 15 to 10, that's not too bad. 18 to 15 pitch, that's not too bad. But the pickup, okay, this is a problem. There should not be only 28 companies picking up, okay, out of 50 dials, because we've got, what is that? That's 22 leads there that are not picking up. We can't even get hold of the business owner. So that tells me there's a problem with our follow-ups. We're not actually following up with people regularly enough to actually get hold of them. Okay, so at every single point here, we can identify where we need to put in the work. If we're getting good positive conversations but we're not booking appointments, then there's an issue somewhere in that state when they say, yes, this is interesting to us, actually booking the call. And so what we want to do is listen back to our calls and listen to that one specific segment to see if we can identify what we are doing to screw that up. Even better, you can get a coach, like inside of our program, where a trained salesperson can listen to your calls and they can identify based on your data. Okay. If we're having conversations, but they're not positive, okay, then it's going to be something to do with our pitch. Then our offer isn't attractive enough. Okay, people aren't interested in our offer. Maybe it isn't relevant. And then we can look at that part of our meeting. If we're getting pickups, but we're not reaching the contacts, then we're clearly not managing the gatekeeper well, and we're not getting past them very well. So we need to listen to that part of our meeting. So you get the idea. At every point, if we track the micro data, we can start identifying where our actual bottlenecks are. So we know over the next 5 days of calling, I just want to focus all of my energy on this area right here. Okay? And then once I've improved that and I'm within KPI, then I'm going to focus on this bit. And once I've improved that, then I'm going to focus on this bit. You get the idea. And we do that for everything. We do that for our emails, we do that for our cold calls, we do that for our DMs. We track the micro data, it becomes a source of truth, and then we gain clarity on what we need to do. And this process is called TILS, okay? This is a framework that we have created, that we have used and leveraged, and it's not even something that we've just fabricated. This is what all great, successful business owners use. And they might not call it TILS, they'll call it something else, but TILS is the way I can articulate this to you. And this process, I'll open it up to you right now. Okay, what we do is we track our relevant data points, okay, in the business. We track, and this might be, let's say our problem is cold calling. We're going to track all of our relevant data. We're then going to identify a specific growth opportunity based on what that data says, one specific growth opportunity. We're going to leverage a proven strategy taught to us by other successful agency owner, one that we found online or whatever, that's been validated by someone successful. That's why it's great to have mentors, because when you identify a leverage point, you can come to me and say, hey, I got a problem with this metric. And I can say, awesome, James, I know exactly what you need to do. We need to implement this system right now. Okay, or let's listen to your sales calls. We can leverage a proven strategy to fix that. And then we can systemize that solution through repetition of understanding it, or maybe we can introduce AI, or maybe we can create an SOP, or maybe there's another way we can delegate it. Okay, we systemize so we stop thinking about it, and then we repeat the process. And this is a Newton's cradle. It comes back and forth. We repeat the process, and then we go back to tracking a different data point and identifying a different leverage point. Then leveraging a proven strategy, then systemizing, then repeat the process every single day. And when we repeat a process like TILS, we have crystal clear clarity on everything we should be doing inside of the business in order to grow. So that's my 7 lessons. I've probably got 100 more where they came from. If you want some more, drop a comment down below. Let me know your favorite from these, and I'll go into it in more detail in the future. I'll also send you over this entire Notion document, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.